Okay, let's cut right through the noise on one of the biggest partnerships in tech today, Microsoft and OpenAI. There's been a lot of chatter, so we're going to get straight to what's really going on. With OpenAI making all these new deals and bringing in new partners, the question on everyone's mind is pretty simple. Is that core foundational alliance with Microsoft starting to fray? Are we seeing a shift?
Well, both companies came out with a joint statement to answer that exact question, and the headline is crystal clear. Nothing has fundamentally changed. Their partnership, it's as solid as ever.
And look, they're not beating around the bush with vague corporate speak. This is a direct quote. They're calling the partnership strong and central. That's a really deliberate message, right? They're trying to calm any speculation and make their long-term commitment totally clear.
But, okay, what does unchanged really mean when you get down to the nuts and bolts of the deal? Let's break down the specific pieces of the agreement that are confirmed to be locked in place.
So, let's look at the fine print. First up, Microsoft's exclusive license to OpenAI's intellectual property. That's unchanged. The revenue sharing deal? Also unchanged. And interestingly, it was always built to include money coming in from other cloud partners. And get this, even their very specific contractual definition of AGI and how they determine they've reached it, that's confirmed to be unchanged too. This stuff is the absolute bedrock of their whole collaboration. All right, so that's the business and legal stuff, but the real linchpin of this entire deal, the part that makes it all work, is technical. And it all revolves around the exclusive role of Microsoft's cloud platform, Azure. Now, to really get this, we need to quickly talk about a key term, stateless APIs. All that means, in simple terms, is that every single request you make to an OpenAI model is treated like a brand new, one-time thing. It doesn't remember what you asked it a minute ago. This is how most apps tap into these incredibly powerful models at a massive, massive scale. Okay, so the agreement was always designed to be flexible. It gives OpenAI the freedom to go out and make business deals with, well, pretty much anyone, including other huge tech companies like Amazon. And that's exactly what you've been seeing in the news lately. And here it is. This is the absolute master stroke of the whole deal. It doesn't matter who OpenAI partners with. It doesn't matter who is buying access to their models. Every single one of those standard stateless API calls, they all get processed exclusively on Microsoft Azure servers. So yeah, every time some third-party app uses an OpenAI model, Microsoft's infrastructure is the engine making it run. So you see, all this recent news isn't some deviation from the plan. It is the plan. This partnership was built from day one to allow for this super deep collaboration while also letting both companies grow independently. Let's look at how that's actually designed to work. This whole structure is about one thing, enabling absolutely massive scale. It gives both companies the breathing room to go after their own opportunities. It gives OpenAI the flexibility it needs to get more computing power from other places as it grows, which, let's be honest, is vital. And it's this very structure that allows them to even think about gigantic projects, like that Stargate supercomputer everyone's been talking about. So let's pull this all together. What's the big takeaway here? What we're watching is a textbook example of a modern business strategy called coopetition. It's where companies are somehow both partners and competitors at the exact same time. So if you remember one thing, make it this. Think of the Microsoft and OpenAI alliance as this unshakable foundation. Other companies can come along, they can build new businesses and new structures right on top of it. But that core, powered by Azure, remains the stable center of gravity for all of it. And this all leaves us with a much bigger, forward-looking question. As this race for AI dominance really heats up, are these kinds of super tight, integrated partnerships the necessary foundation for building the future? Or do they risk becoming a fence that actually limits innovation down the road? That's something the entire industry is watching very, very closely.